This comes from Jordan Peterson talking about how people that are more agreeable have less success in promotion and salary than someone that is more assertive. So it's a really good question, because this person is taking what I talk about, which is play the game, right? And thinking that that means agreeableness. And it does to some extent. It absolutely does to some extent. And so that's a really good question. And the answer is that there's a dichotomy to this, that there, like all of life and like all of business and like all of leadership, there's a dichotomy, because while someone that is agreeable, like very agreeable, certainly has less of a chance of career advancement than someone that is assertive, right? That makes sense. Like if you never say, hey, I'll do that, or hey, let me handle that project. If you don't ever do that, and someone says, hey, no, I'll do this, and you go, okay, that's fine. And we're going to promote this guy. Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah. You know, if you're that agreeable, well, yeah, it's going to be problematic. But also, when assertiveness turns into overly aggressive, the chances of advancement start to go back down again. And when you get to someone that is ultra aggressive and rubs people the wrong way and won't do any compromising, that person's going to be at the same level of advancement as someone that's super agreeable, or at least in the same ballpark. They'll be close, if they still have a job at all, by the way. Because someone that's, overly aggressive and won't compromise with anyone and calls everyone out, if they're the complete far end of the spectrum opposite to agreeableness, that's going to be a problem. So when I talk about playing the game, I'm definitely talking about being agreeable, because I'm telling you to be more agreeable, right? When you don't play the game, it's like, hey, we're going to run this new project. That project is stupid. Mm-hmm. Well, an agreeable person would say, okay, well, that sounds good. Where are we going with this? Now, an agreeable person that's too agreeable might go down the road of something that's not a good plan. But if you're overly aggressive, if you're not playing the great game at all, you're not going to get past go, right? So when I say play the game, I am talking about being agreeable. Now, I was talking to someone the other day who's pretty hardcore, and he was feeling some heat from his boss in a company that I was working with, and he wanted to fight back. Mm-hmm. Wanted to fight back. #resist, right? And he wanted to fight back. He wanted to go beyond that. He wanted to go beyond resist. He wanted to go like into the aggressive mode. And I told him, don't fight back. I said, play the game. And he sort of got aggressive because, like I said, he's a pretty hardcore guy. He started getting aggressive with me and started saying like, oh, that's what I should do now, bow down and kiss the ring. I'm not going to do that. I'm a man, right? He came at me with that angle. Sure. And then he said this, which was interesting. He goes, he said something along the lines of, like, you wouldn't take this kind of crap. Why should I? And I stayed quiet for a minute. And I heard him say that. And I was like, oh, you just served me up a little softball. And then, I took a big breath and I'm like, you have no idea. You have no idea the things that I have done, the pride that I have swallowed, the dumb jokes I've laughed at, the idiotic plans I've supported, the insane lengths that I had to go through throughout my career, my entire career, to win. To win in the end. That was my goal. And in order to win, you got to play the game. You got to massage some egos. You have to accept some things that you normally might not accept. You have to eat some humble pie from time to time. And what you're doing and why you do those things is so that you can build confidence with your boss. That's what you're doing. So you can build trust with your boss. And you do that so that in the end, if your boss is not a good guy, you can actually beat the boss. You can win. But you can't win if you don't play the game. You'll lose before you even start. So play the game. That's what I told this guy, right? Now, do you have to balance this? Yes, you absolutely do. Because if you become a sycophant and you just become a brown noser, am I talking about becoming a brown noser? No. Because if you do that, you're losing clout and influence with your team or with your subordinates or with your peers, because you're brown nosing the boss and you're losing clout there. So you have to, and you won't win because those guys are going to get pissed at you. They're not going to support you. So I'm not saying you go overboard. You have to have balance. You have to know when to say yes, when to appease. I built so much clout. I built clout by doing things that people wanted me to do, that like maybe I was kind of a weird project, or they want me to try a piece of equipment out. It's like, cool, yeah, I'll try it. We'll write you a good report about it. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, you want me to try some new tactic? Cool, we'll give it a try. I in my mind, I'm thinking this is dumb. But you know what? Hey, let's give it a try. Oh, you know what? It didn't work as well as I was hoping it would, but here's some points we took away from it. Okay. The guy at least said, as opposed to saying that new tactic is stupid. Mm-hmm. Your plan is dumb. Okay. I'm disagreeable. What's that going to get me? It's not going to get it. I'm being too assertive. I'm being too aggressive. So you have to balance it. You have to know when to tactfully stand up and disagree with someone, instead of being totally agreeable all the time. And I'm not talking about being agreeable all the time. I'm talking about balance. That's what I'm talking about. And that's playing the game.
Yeah.
So playing the game is not being a submissive, agreeable baby, right? That's not playing the game.
Yeah.
Playing the game is playing balance, is knowing when, is building trust. It's doing some dumb things, showing respect. It's just playing the game. Yeah. And you're playing the game to win. That's what you're playing the game for.
Yeah. Yeah, and I get it, like playing the game, maybe got viewed as like being agreeable. But when Jordan Peterson talks about agreeableness, he's talking about a personality trait. He's not talking about like some action you took to do something,
Well, yeah, but agreeableness has resulting actions. If you're an agreeable person, you're going to be...
Fully. But when it stems from a personality trait, that means just like how you said, like you're going to be agreeable for the most part regardless. Like I forget what the other trait is called about, success, when he was talking about that. But nonetheless, like if you're talking about playing the game, meaning sure, you might have to display some agreeableness every once in a while to kind of size it when you have to, or when when it's useful. That does not mean you're an agreeable person as a personality trait. It's way two different, completely different things.
I'm definitely not saying that you're going to be able to change your personality.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a very agreeable person. I agree with people all day long.
Right.
Why? Because I'm trying to win.
That's the point. Exactly right.
I actually disagree with 89% of the things that I hear on a daily basis.
Dang, bro.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm literally trying to figure out right now, as I'm thinking about this, so many things I disagree with. Yeah. There's two things that are going on. Number one, this is straight up. Number one, if you give me an idea and I go, that's dumb, Echo. Mm-hmm. Number one, I'm arrogant. I'm not listening. I'm shutting the idea out when your idea might have some good traits to it. Mm-hmm. Number two, you're pissed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I didn't gather any clout with you. I didn't build our relationship at all. Yeah. I just said like, hey, that's a dumb idea. No, so instead I'm like, okay, well, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Tell me, like, how would you implement this idea of yours? Because maybe it could have some good benefit. I could see where you're coming from on this.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm building our relationship, and you're thinking that, hey, this guy listens to me, and that's what I like in someone I work with, someone that listens to me. So those are the kind of things that we're talking about. I'm not talking about changing your personality. I'm a disagreeable human being, but I don't show that very often.
Right.
I don't. There's something I was talking about this. Who was I talking to? I forget who I was talking to, but I was talking about how I never, ever, like there's some things that really bother me in the world, and I never tell anyone what they are. I will not. I'll go to maybe I'll put like in my last will and testament things that bothered me. But I will, but I don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Why? Well, the main reason is because when you're in the teams and people know what bothers you, they're going to get it. They're going to tear you up with that thing. Yes. So I'll never say it. Won't tell my kids, won't tell my wife, nothing. When something happens that really, really bothers me, because I'm disagreeable, I don't like that kind of stuff.
Is it like pet peeve kind of stuff?
Both.
Or is
all the above.
All right.
Personality traits I don't like. The way people communicate sometimes I don't like. Little pet peeves that I have of things that people do that I don't like. No one knows any of them. No one knows any. They're all deep undercover, and I will never tell anyone what they are.
I feel like you should kind of tell me just so I avoid these things, because I'm very agreeable in that way.
Yeah.
Where I don't want to do that stuff. Like if I'm saying, people say, I don't know what I'm saying, or like if I say like a lot. Do you not like that? Is that one of the things?
I'll never tell anyone. I'll never tell anyone.
All right.
What these things are.
All right. Cool.
You're the target list for you. It's not that big.
I'm at low risk. All right. I'm still on the radar though. All right. Yeah. Hey man.
Hey everyone, play the game. Play the game. I know everyone wants. That's the funny thing is everyone thinks like Jocko's hardcore. I don't take no crap from nobody. And it's like, no, actually, I'm gonna play the game because you know why? I'm gonna win. That's the difference. I'm gonna win.
Yeah, that was kind of part of your story too. When the guy was that a face-to-face thing when you're talking about the guy who said
it was.
So there was like a built-in assumption right there when he said you wouldn't take that crap. Like, whoa, wait.
I was like, oh, actually, let me tell you what my life has been like.
Yeah.
And of course they're looking at me now and they're thinking, well, he just aggressively crushed everyone on his rise to the top, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, not true at all.
Yeah.
Maneuvered.
Yeah, like
played the game.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with playing the game.
Yeah.
Now, we're not talking about like you just become a kiss ass. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Being a kiss ass is equally bad.
Yeah.
It's equally bad. You lose just as much respect, not only from your peers, not only from your subordinates, but also from the person that you're working with.
Yeah.
They even know you're a kiss ass, and they'll run roughshod all over you. And when it comes time to promotion, they'll be like, you know what? I'm going to promote the other guy because it doesn't really matter. This guy is gonna kiss my ass regardless.
Yeah.
Because you're too agreeable.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about this. This is a dichotomy.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. So the point that I was making, that I think there might have been a misunderstanding given the question. Like, play the game isn't the same as this agreeableness that Jordan Peterson is talking about. It's different. They're not the same thing. Well,
they're not the same thing.
Yeah, it seems like the question that he thought it was the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. He thinks that playing the game is being agreeable.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
It might sometimes be acting agreeable. Yeah. It might be agreeing to some things that make you a little bit frustrated, but you roll with it. Because you know what? You're playing to win. You're playing the long game. This is a joke, this conversation we're having with my boss or with my subordinate. Like, it's a joke. That thing doesn't matter to me. Yeah. I don't care if I win this argument. I'm playing the long game over here.
Like,
playing to win.
You ever watch Survivor?
No.
Come on, bro. You ever watch Survivor?
No, I mean, I've seen shows of it.
Yeah. Okay. So, I don't watch Survivor. Well, I do. I mean, my wife does, so...
Is it still on? I didn't even know it's still a show.
I think it's still on, yeah.
Okay.
So, Survivor, playing the game. And that's a term that is all up in Survivor, playing the game. So, okay, when Survivor, I'm going to take too long on Survivor, but it's totally in line with what you're talking about. So, Survivor, you know, they throw, and here's what the basis, just the prime raw basis of Survivor. You throw a bunch of people on.
I know, everyone knows the basis.
Thing. Yeah. You do some challenges.
Vote each other off.
You vote each other off with certain, advantages you can win and whatnot, right? Little rewards, whatever you mean. So, and how it turned itself, like what it morphed kind of into just by nature is like this little political game within the game, right? And now it's just a huge overt part of Survivor, the political game. I'm playing the game. Yeah. I'm building alliances. I'm doing all this stuff or whatever. It's the exact same thing, man. Exact same thing. Yeah. I'm building relationships or whatever.
Yeah. Let me tell you what the huge difference is. And this is a huge difference. In that game, you're playing the game to win for yourself.
Yeah.
And what I'm talking about, and this is such a huge part of the way I think, that I didn't even talk about it because it's just embedded in the way I think. If you're playing the game to further yourself and further your own career, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
Because when you play the game like that, it's the same thing as like kissing ass. It's the same thing as you're doing things because you want the advantage, and people will identify that. If you're playing the game so that your team can win, so that you can accomplish the mission, that's when this works. That's when playing the game works. Otherwise, if you're doing it to promote yourself, it's not going to work. And it might work once or twice, and it might get you one promotion, but everyone that saw you get promoted after you kissed ass, they're all pissed at you. They're going to undermine you, and you're going to go down.
Bro, you know what's it's so interesting about what you just said there is that you're absolutely right. Survivor is like the one guy, right? So playing the game, I'm playing the game, right? Anytime someone says that, like, hey, I'm playing the game, they do it in this context where it's like, so, and that's okay. We're here. It's a game, so it's acceptable. I'm playing the game. But they'll always say it as an excuse for like actions. Lying to someone or backstabbing someone. And it's so weird how that, you're exactly right, that's the nature of the game. So when you play the game in this context, at work or the way you're talking about, it's always a good thing. You're looking out
as long as you're doing it for the team.
Yes, exactly right.
So it's not always a good thing, because there's people that play the game, and they play the game so that they are going to... I just said this 10 times. I was like, I play to win. But yeah, I play for my team to win. I play for us to be able to accomplish the mission.
Yeah.
That's why I'm playing the game.
Yeah.
If you're playing the game so that you can get the promotion, or that's not going to... And like I said, it might work once or twice, but it's not a long-term solution.
Yeah.
Guarantee it's not a long-term solution.
Yeah,
that's a strong statement. I guarantee it's not a long-term solution.
Yeah.
Now, what if you... Now, here's an example, just taking this one step further. You could play the game to get that one promotion, and then you could go, okay, now I can play the game to help the team.
Right.
But you had to do some maneuvering to get into a spot where you could help. Yeah. That's a tricky one, because people still think you're a jerk because of what you did.
Yeah.
But then you get there, and it's going to take you a long time to build that trust back up because you maneuvered and you got collateral damage around there.
Yeah.
It's not a good thing. It's not hard to clean up that collateral damage.
Yeah, man. So you essentially
can't always do it, actually.
Yeah,
be careful.
You know how you say you'll lose a battle to win the war kind of thing?
For sure.
So now in your little example there right there, you're like you lost a battle to win a little mini war to essentially lose a bigger battle to win even a bigger war.
These are
you
things that could happen.
Like all this little,
it's just like in jiu-jitsu, you sacrifice a position because you know you're going to end up with a area of the game that you're really good at.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, think about pulling guard. What's pulling guard?
Yeah, that's exactly
what
that is.
You're sacrificing being on the bottom because you're good at it.
Yeah. For
a bigger victory.
Yeah. This game goes deep, man.
This stuff goes deep, indeed.
Playing the game.